So I've said my piece on the Modern Warfare 3 beta already. If you want to hear my full thoughts, be sure to check out my beta review. But today I feel the need to have an entire rant about skill-based matchmaking, because I really do think it is the difference between Modern Warfare 3 being a great game and being another, unfortunately, mediocre Call of Duty entry. If you are new to the channel, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on those notifications. And with that being said as well, be sure to go and check out the new gaming channel, Sammy Boy Gaming. We are covering a lot of Spider-Man content over there at the moment. And once we hit 1K subscribers, I will be doing a setup tour. So make sure you don't miss out on that. But with that being said, let's get stuck right into the rant. Now, firstly, I want to say I do understand the benefits of skill-based matchmaking for new players. As much as I'm very passionate on my opinion here, I am still open-minded. I still do understand that there are positives to it. I'm not just saying it's the worst thing that's ever happened. And so I want you guys to go into this open-minded enough that you're not just instantly set in your ways. Listen to what I've got to say. If it doesn't change your mind, that doesn't matter. But like I said, I'm open-minded to this, at least to the extent that I do understand the other side of it. I don't agree with it whatsoever, but I do at least understand it. And that's all I'm asking from you guys, is to just listen to what I've got to say. And if you still disagree, that is completely fine. You can feel free to roast me in the comments regardless. Like I said, skill-based matchmaking does have benefits to new players. It makes it a little bit less harsh to start out. It does help a lot with retention when it comes to the casual player base, which is definitely fair enough. And I do agree that it is not fun. If this is your first Call of Duty, for example, it's not fun to be thrown straight in the deep end. And I honestly think there are ways to go about that. They could have skill-based matchmaking in the first, say, 25 levels, where you are put with, you know, newer players, not just ranked by their actual level, but ranked by their KD and all that kind of thing, and make it a little bit easier for like brand new players. Because I do agree that if it's your literal first game playing Call of Duty and you're just getting thrown into a lobby with demons, that is not fun for anyone. On the flip side of that, the thing is, that doesn't help anyone get better at the game either. And to be fair, a lot of people might not care about that. They don't want to get better. They just want to jump on and have some fun. And that is completely fair enough. The issue with that is that if you ever want to step foot outside of Call of Duty, well, I hate to break it to you, you are going to get completely shat on if you've just been handheld by skill-based matchmaking. You might get to the point in Call of Duty where you've played for 3 or 4 years now, for example, and you think you're kind of getting better at the game. But if you went and played a game that doesn't have skill-based matchmaking, you are going to be a genuine bot, because you have not had the experience in terms of getting thrown in the deep end at some point to where you actually get better at the game. You pretty much just get better to where you can aim a little better and you understand the maps, for example, and you'll get some sort of improvement there, I guess. But the ceiling is very, very small in that you get to that, like, you know, general level where you can finally aim and stuff like that, for example, but then you're not getting any better after that point. Now, for a bit of context, when I started playing Call of Duty, which for context is back in the Modern Warfare days, back in 2007, that makes me feel very, very old as I'm saying this. I'm only 27, but that makes me feel like a genuine boomer, if I'm going to be honest. And when I started playing Call of Duty back then, I was straight ass at the game. I had a 0.4 KD in the first Call of Duty, which, like I said, was Modern Warfare for me. That is genuinely terrible. I believe that is like half as good as what the, you know, the casual player currently is in this day and age. So when I say I was a bot, I was a genuine NPC back then. I was an absolute bot at the game. But the thing is that moments every now and then would make me feel good enough where I maybe went, you know, terrible in that game, but I had a really good moment where back then for me, getting like 2 kills in a row was really fun. And it made me feel good about the game, and it made me want to get better, because I was seeing people at the top of the lobby where I was going like 4 and 10 every game and they were going like 30 and 5. And I looked at that and went, damn, people are actually really good at this game. I want to get better because it is fun when I have good moments. And how that resulted is that I did get better. I was thrown in the deep end. I was playing against people who were clearly a lot better than me, and it forced me to get better at the game, to which point I did. I am now generally in the top 1% of any shooter that I play. That sounds like I'm being arrogant or bragging. I'm not. That's still not very good when you compare me to like the best players in the world. They would still consider me a bot, because I absolutely am compared to those players. But that is just context for what I'm talking about. When I started, I was a 0.4 KD player, and now pretty much any shooter that I actually put the time into, I generally end up in the top 1% in the world. And if you don't believe that, I don't really care. You can search my gamer tag on any of the tracking websites out there. It doesn't really matter whether you guys believe that or not, that is just the truth. And that did not happen by me having my hand held. That happened by me getting completely shat on by players who were way better than me, and it forced me to get better. The example of that in real life is, for example, if you've got a brother and you guys play basketball in the driveway and you're shooting hoops, your older brother is probably going to shit on you for the majority of your childhood. Your older brother is going to be stronger, he's going to be taller, he's going to be quicker, he's going to be better at basketball than you, and you're going to cry and you're going to go have a sook to your mum that he's dunking on you and all this stuff. But there will come a day when you then finally become better than your older brother, and when you finally beat him in a game of basketball, at that point you pretty much never lose again. You have officially become better than your older brother, and that is generally the case. Usually the younger brother actually ends up being better because they have been baptized by fire by their older brother when they're playing basketball, for example. That exact same situation happens in pretty much anything in life. It is the same saying as like the master and the apprentice. The apprentice generally becomes better than the master at whatever they're doing, and it is definitely the case in shooters and just whatever game in general. When you get baptized by fire and you are forced to get better, generally that makes you then a lot better than you would have been if you were just handheld through it. Now again, maybe that doesn't matter for everyone, and that's completely understandable. It's not, you know, the end of the world if you're not the best player in the world. It doesn't really matter. But generally speaking, how you have fun playing a game like Call of Duty is by doing well, right? And so if you want to do well, you need to get better. If you want to get better, you don't do that by being in skill-based matchmaking lobbies. That does not make you any better at the game. Now, the other side of it too is that a lot of people also say, you know, when creators like myself or just their friends or whatever are saying, oh, stop sooking about skill-based matchmaking, you're just complaining because you just want to shit on everyone. That is not true at all. I do not want to just go and dominate every lobby. I can tell you right now, I would get even more bored of the game if every game I joined, I just shat on everyone. That is not fun. If I wanted to do that, I'd just load up a game against bots and just shit on bots all day. That is not enjoyable. If you guys have been around the channel a while, you will actually know my stance on playing against genuine AI. I do not enjoy it. I literally, in Battlefield, for example, they've got AI soldiers in the game when it's an empty lobby, and I literally will just not play if that's the case. I hate playing against bots because it's not fun to just shit on people all day long, whether it's a bot or an actual player. That is not fun. Every now and then, for sure, if you just get thrown into a game and you are literally dominating, that is obviously fun. But if it's every single game, that is not enjoyable whatsoever, and it becomes boring. I would argue it becomes boring way quicker that way than if I was getting shat on every game, because at least if I'm getting shat on, I feel like I can improve. I feel like I can sort of get back and be better, and eventually it's kind of like there's something to build towards. Whereas if I'm just shitting on everyone, that's not fun. I don't want to do that at all. And so I see that that's like one of the main comebacks from people who are for skill-based matchmaking. They try to use that as the example that, oh, you just want to shit on everyone. That could not be further from the truth. And if that's your best argument, then it kind of goes to show you don't have much of an argument in the first case. Now, my final example of why skill-based matchmaking is so bad when it is this strong. Don't get me wrong, when it's a slight amount of skill-based matchmaking, that's fine. I also think it's fine in ranked, just for context. But when it's this strong and it's in a casual mode, for me, it is almost like the game is simulated at that point. You kind of just know you're going to just be pretty even every game. It has actually been proven through, and there's multiple YouTubers out there who have proven this, guys like JGod and stuff, Exclusive Ace. You guys can go and check them out if you don't believe me. They've pretty much proven the game has like a genuine algorithm to where it knows how many bad games you've had to where it needs to throw you a bone. If you've had 5 games in a row where they put you in really tough lobbies, they will then purposely give you a good lobby, or I guess in this case a bad lobby full of bots, to make you feel good and sort of earn your trust back that, okay, this game isn't getting boring, I'm actually having fun. It is literally an algorithm that we are being played by. It is literally that. I know that sounds like a tinfoil hat theory, but that is literally the truth. It has been proven, and even there are certain patents out there that have been like copyrighted by Activision and Call of Duty that also confirm this. That has to be public, by the way. If they're going to patent something, it has to be public. This is all public information. This is not some tinfoil hat conspiracy. I'm by no means a conspiracy theorist at all, but this is all completely proven. And although this isn't necessarily what is actually happening, it definitely makes the game feel as though it is simulated. It feels like there is actually no choice by us as the players as to how well we do. It's almost like Call of Duty is just telling us what is going to happen in each game, pretty much. Now, if I use sport as an example, And I know not all of you are going to follow sport, so that's completely fine. But if you guys are into sport, doesn't matter if it's the NBA or football, whatever, it doesn't matter. Anyone who follows sport, we all follow a specific team. We're all fans of one team, right? You watch that team because you have the hope that, hey, maybe this is the year that we win the championship. You want to do well. You want to see your team winning. And the kind of like a mystery around it is what actually makes the sport really interesting to watch, because you're going into each game, you don't know if you're going to win or lose. There's kind of like pressure there. There's a bit of higher stakes. Whether you're the worst team in the league or the best team in the league, there's always the chance to win or lose. And that is what makes sport so fun to watch, because you're not necessarily just watching for the content of the sport. You're also watching for the result. You really want your team to win. And because we don't know what's going to happen, that is what makes sport so entertaining to watch. Now, imagine I came to you every year. Let's just say I'm some sort of genie from the future, and I came to you every single season at the beginning of the season, and I told you what your team was going to do. I was going to say, your team went 20-20 this year. You make the playoffs and you lose in the playoffs and your season's over. And I pretty much spoil the season ahead for you. That would not be fun, would it? You would not probably have as much interest in that season because you know the outcome. Sure, you still get to watch your team win 20 games, and you're probably still going to tune in most weekends and watch them, because what else is there to do? You're going to jump on and watch and support your team. But at the end of the day, you know the outcome of that season, and it is going to really suck the joy out of that season because the mystery is gone. You're not sitting there thinking, oh my God, we've won 3 in a row. Could we go on and win the championship here? You could win 10 games in a row and you still know, well, that doesn't matter. That means we've got a big loss streak coming here and we're going to go out in the first round of the playoffs anyway. So what does it matter at the end of the day? And like I said, that would really suck your joy out of the sport. It's not going to completely ruin it. I'm certain you'd still tune in and watch multiple games a year. It would still maybe be a bit of fun, but it would not be as enjoyable as all of us find sport currently, because that mystery and intrigue is no longer there. Well, that is pretty much what skill-based matchmaking does. It pretty much comes along and tells you, hey, just so you know, you're going to have a 1 KD pretty much for the whole entirety of this game. For all of Modern Warfare 3, you're probably going to be like a 1.2 KD player. You're going to have some games, yes, where you do pretty well, but most games you're just going to go like 20-20. You'll have one game where you go 40-5, and you'll have another game where you go like 8-30. But most games are going to be in the middle there, and it is pretty much telling you the outcome of what's going to happen, because like I said, it almost feels as though it is simulated. And for me, that is the part that sucks the joy out of a game like Call of Duty when there is skill-based matchmaking. Not because I'm not dominating, it's because there is no mystery. Every game is pretty much the same. You're not going into each match thinking, oh my God, what's going to happen? You kind of just know what's going to happen. Even subconsciously, you might still think, oh, but what if I do well this game? But deep down, you know, you're probably just going to be 20-20 by the end of that game. And it really does suck the joy out of it, unfortunately. I also think that a lot of the reason a lot of people stick up for skill-based matchmaking in that example right there, where I said, the team you follow goes 20-20 and then goes out in the playoffs. A lot of people who are happy with that and who are happy with skill-based matchmaking, the reason that they're happy with it is because generally their team would go 5-35 instead of 20-20. And so to them, that's a really good season. They're like, damn, this is awesome. Our team's won 15 games more than last year. That's so good. And so in that moment, they think that this is good. They think their team's finally getting better. And so they're going to defend it. But that is not the case at all. And after 5 years of going 20-20 instead of having the mystery, I guarantee they're going to be bored of it as well. When you don't have the mystery and the intrigue behind what is going to happen, and you just know that everything is essentially simulated, that will eventually, whether you like it this year or not, it will eventually suck the joy out of the game. So I don't know if that's necessarily the best example. It's the best example I could think of that I was thinking about the other day, that if I was told every year watching a sport what my team was going to do, I'd probably still tune in. I'd probably still have a bit of fun. You'd see some good highlights and you'd still see your team winning. But I know for a fact that would suck the joy out of that season for me, and I'd probably just be thinking the whole year like, yeah, I guess it's kind of fun, but there's no mystery, there's no intrigue, it's not as exciting as it used to be. And that is how I feel with Call of Duty. Overall, I think skill-based matchmaking just belongs in ranked. If it had a ranked mode that was actually good, then that would be completely fine to have skill-based matchmaking, and I think in that case it needs it. But for casual players who just want to jump on, especially playing with friends and stuff like that too, I honestly think skill-based matchmaking just has no place whatsoever. Maybe a little bit for sure, just so that you're not playing against the best player in the world, for example. That's fair enough, but in my opinion, it should be based solely on ping. You should be put into the best connection lobby that you can find, not the best lobby for everyone having a 1 KD. That's just not fun. And sure, from time to time it can be fun, but over the course of, you know, this has been 5 to 10 years now of having this, it has genuinely sucked the joy out of Call of Duty, to where every year the beta comes around, I play it, I'm like, it's kind of fun, it could be really fun, and then the game actually comes out, and by 2 months later I'm completely sick of it, because it's just every match is completely identical, and I really think that that is ruining the game, unfortunately. But that is going to do it for this one. I could go on about this forever. I'm keen to hear your thoughts, and even if you disagree, obviously be sure to leave your thoughts below as well. I am always open to having my mind changed, but unfortunately with this situation I don't think you guys can change my mind, but I am keen to hear your thoughts regardless, so be sure to leave your arguments down below, or if you agree with me, obviously be sure to leave those down below as well. The unfortunate thing is I don't think it is going anywhere, so regardless, at the end of the day this doesn't even matter, but it is a fun conversation to have anyway. I've seen a lot of heated conversations out there, so like I said, be sure to leave your comments down below. With that being said, thank you all very much for watching. You guys have a great day, and I'll see you all out there on the battlefield.